So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. So guys, I'm gonna be doing live later. Let's debate. I've put the time as 11 p.m. UK time, but I might get on there a bit earlier depending on what time I finish the gym. But I thought I'd do a quick video prior to that. Guys, obviously the video is going to be about us debating about Mayweather Pacquiao and who had a greater legacy, greater career. And I want to get you guys chipping in. We'll talk about other stuff as we do, but I'd love to know your opinions about that particular matter. But I wanted to talk about Mayweather Pacquiao Canelo in the sense that Canelo, if he beats Plant, and I know I spoke in the video before that if Caleb beats, Caleb wants to create history and Caleb is talking, he's confident, etc. But let's talk about Canelo and what this could do for his legacy. He wants to be known as one of the greatest fighters ever. If he beats Caleb, he's done something that Mayweather and Pacquiao have never done. They've never become undisputed champions in their life. Or in their boxing career, sorry, more than their life, but in their boxing career, they've never become undisputed champions, which to me is kind of crazy because let's be honest, in the divisions that they operated in, they were the best guys, and they probably could have cleaned out the division if they wanted to. But I think the reason back then that being undisputed wasn't the be all and end all. Also, there's a lot of factors which stop the undisputed guys being undisputed. Firstly, there's obviously the political side, you know, the promoters, people being on different networks. It's hard to make the fights. Also, one thing I've noticed about the undisputed is with, for example, Josh Taylor, who became undisputed, Terence Crawford, who became undisputed. I feel like when there's a division and those guys in that division aren't big names, they all fight each other. They all want to become undisputed because they haven't got a name, and they know by winning all the belts that will get their name out there. That will make them a bigger star. In Crawford's case, it hasn't done. Josh Taylor had exactly the same thing where Josh Taylor became undisputed, but in Josh Taylor's division, and Josh Taylor still himself, they're not big names. So the only way they were going to become big names is by fighting one another. So the fighters made the fights. Canelo Alvarez is obviously a big star. However, the other guys in that division aren't big stars. But the thing is, Canelo wants to be undisputed. So when you got a guy like Canelo, like Golovkin wanted to be undisputed, but Golovkin didn't have the pulling power of Canelo. So Golovkin couldn't force those fights when the other guys were champions. Canelo's a money man. So everybody wants to fight Canelo because they know they're going to get a huge payday fighting Canelo Alvarez. So they all were going to gain financially fighting him, whereas Golovkin didn't have the same pull. So there's political factors that can stop you being undisputed, because there could be guys on different networks, could be guys, when there's bigger stars, they don't really need to fight each other. For example, Amir Khan and Tim Bradley. Amir Khan was a unified champion, Tim Bradley was unified champion. Tim Bradley had a very big name in the sport at that time when he was unified champion, so did Amir Khan. They didn't really need to fight each other to make themselves bigger stars. They're already big stars. So Tim Bradley had other options, and he probably looked at Khan as very high risk, low reward at them. It wasn't low reward because he would have got paid a lot of money, but Tim Bradley ducked that fight because he had other options which could have made him a lot of money. So again, this is what I mean. Different. That's why when people say, oh, he became undisputed, it's very hard for guys like Mayweather and Pacquiao, you know, they didn't really, back in their day, being undisputed wasn't really that big a deal, right? Otherwise, if it was, they could have easily, if they had that goal in their head, like Canelo's got that goal in his head, right? They could have easily tried to become undisputed. I never thought at any point in their career that they ever wanted to be undisputed. It wasn't really a big thing to them, to be honest with you. But that's changed. I feel like over the last couple of years, being undisputed is actually something really big. It's actually there's made a real big emphasis of it. So times are changing, which is good, because we want all the fighters to think that we want to be undisputed, because then what happens is we get all the best fighters fighting each other. And that makes it great for the sport of boxing, because at the end of the day, it's the sport of boxing that will blossom if the best fight the best. If the best are fighting the best, then that can't be a bad thing for boxing. That's a great thing for boxing. It's when the best aren't fighting the best, that's when it's bad for the sport of boxing. So, to be honest with you, it's a great thing with Josh Taylor, Terence Crawford, the recent undisputed Alexander Usyk, the recent undisputed champions. Is really good for the sport of boxing, because if the emphasis does change and everybody starts fighting each other, right? That's what we want. That's what we want. We want the best fighting the best. But don't, just because somebody becomes undisputed, you have to look at it different eras. There was a different demographic. There was different, way of thinking. Like Mayweather and Pacquiao, like I said, in their eras, being undisputed wasn't, some of the greatest fighters have never been undisputed. Being undisputed was, I feel like there was never a big emphasis on being undisputed around the Mayweather-Pacquiao time. And they didn't really need to be, because everybody knew them two were the best, Where Canelo, he wants to be undisputed. That's the thing. He wants to hold all the belts. Do you see what I mean? So that's why, otherwise, if Canelo didn't really care about being undisputed, he wouldn't really care. But he cares. He wants to hold the belt. Golovkin also wanted to as well. I feel like Golovkin hasn't got the same motivation now. But back in the day, Golovkin also wanted to be undisputed. But I don't feel he has that same drive anymore. Probably because he's older and now it's more become about making money. But for me, I think that Canelo can achieve something that, depending on what he goes on to do, till the end of his career, this is something that he could have over Mayweather and Pacquiao. Even though, for me, when I'm judging it, I won't hold it against them that they didn't become undisputed if we're judging legacies and stuff. Right, when we're debating legacies, because at the end of the day, like I said, it was a different era in Mayweather and Pacquiao's time. Being undisputed was not seen as the be-all or end-all. Like now, I feel like there's more emphasis on being undisputed. Like we see with the heavyweights, they're like, oh, we're undisputed. The light heavyweights. We see it with the super middleweights. Canelo's in an undisputed fight. We had Jamel Charlo and Castano, which was a draw. See, there's a lot more undisputed fights happening, because I think there's more emphasis from the sport of boxing to one face, one champion. So there's more emphasis being played on there being an undisputed champion. Do you see where I'm coming from? So that's why we're getting more undisputed champions. Whereas back in the day with Mayweather and Pacquiao's time, I don't really think there was as big an emphasis on it. That's why those kind of guys didn't become undisputed. Like I said, giving you an example, 10 years ago, like 140-pound division, Josh Taylor became an undisputed champion. Amir Khan and Tim Bradley could have become undisputed champion, but Bradley didn't even think becoming undisputed champion was that big, because he didn't even take the Khan fight. Do you see what I mean? So he decided to go and fight Manny Pacquiao. So for him, it was more about the legacy fighting a Pacquiao, rather than becoming undisputed. For him, becoming undisputed wasn't that be all or end all. Do you see what I mean? It was not that big, even though Khan was a huge name. And he would have got paid a lot of money for that. But he thought, I'll just go and fight Pacquiao instead. Whereas and the other thing is that Bradley was with Top Rank, and Amir Khan was with Golden Boy. And I don't know back then whether their relationship was that good. The fact of the matter is that Khan wanted to fight Timothy Bradley. Right? But like I said to you, that undisputed back in that 11 years ago, it wasn't seen as a big thing like it's seen now. I feel like the mindset is changing. And also, like I said to you, when you're big stars, both Khan and Bradley were big stars, they didn't need each other. Whereas Josh Taylor and Ramirez, they aren't big stars. They haven't got a huge name. They haven't got huge profiles. They need each other, because whoever was going to win that fight was going to gain from a profile point of view. They were going to gain from a popularity and a fame point of view. That's why it was essential for them to actually become undisputed. It was essential for one of them to actually win the belts, because it would do a lot for their profile and their career moving forward. And I think personally, Josh Taylor, although he still hasn't got the credit, he definitely has benefited from being undisputed. I'm not saying that he's got the full credit and the full reward for being undisputed, but I definitely think he's benefited in some way, because even when he was a unified champion, nobody really cared. Nobody knew. And now he's getting a lot more credit, especially here in the UK. He's starting to be pushed more by Sky Sports. With BBC are mentioning him as well. So he's definitely getting out there a lot more. Still not that big, but but he's getting out there a little bit. You know, BT Sports have got him doing commentary, so they're trying to push him out there. They're trying to get his name out there. So to be honest with you, it was kind of one where they all knew in the 140-pound division that we all need to fight each other because we haven't got the profiles, we haven't got the names. By fighting each other is how we're going to become more popular, how we're going to become bigger names. Whereas guys back 10 years ago when there was Khan, Bradley, all those guys, they didn't really need to fight each other because they were already big names. They were already, and they didn't. And there was a lot of political things in boxing that were stopping it. So Top Rank, Golden Boy, Khan was with Golden Boy, Bradley with Top Rank. And so I don't think there was as much of importance back in the day, you know, to become undisputed. And that's why you see guys like Mayweather and Pacquiao didn't become undisputed. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, I think we would have had more undisputed champions. But I think because of the fact there wasn't as much emphasis put on it, I think that's probably why we didn't get as many undisputed champions. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. What do you guys make of Canelo potentially becoming undisputed? Where do you see his legacy? Is Canelo's legacy going to be greater than Mayweather and Pacquiao's legacy if he becomes undisputed? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Oh yeah, guys, before I leave, make sure to join the live stream. Also, guys, I would love if you guys smash the like button. I don't know if you guys will watch till the end, but can you please smash the like button? It really helps with my algorithm. It really helps my channel grow. I really appreciate all of you guys leaving comments. I'll try to get back to every single one of you. Join me in the live stream today. Smash that like button, guys. It really helps the algorithm. Smash that like button on all my videos whenever I post. I really appreciate if you can smash that like button. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you're thinking, guys. Remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.